Just found out my girlfriend 20F who recently became semi-long distance has cheated on me 20M with a good friend of mine. TL 22M, DR at the bottom. Story 1. I can't even describe how betrayed, how angry and how alone I feel. As a cliché saying, I'll just start from the beginning. 2 years ago I met the girl of my dreams. She's amazing in the best possible ways, and to say I was in love would be the understatement of the year. We keep hanging on and off for days on end, even making her friends and other boys who were into her very jealous. After 5 months of talking and hanging out together and a whole night of playing truth or dare, we admitted we had feelings for each other over call. I was ecstatic to say the least. This was the first ever person I dated, and I haven't experienced anything as amazing feeling as that night. From there on it was amazing. We talked for days on end, calling each other as soon as we got home, and even joined calls together and turning on our cameras in order to make her more comfortable due to her having severe anxiety, which made it to where she got so worried she wouldn't be able to sleep. We kept going on like that for around 6 months, always doing something new, playing a new game that came out and making new friends. This is when my new friend comes into the picture. We played a couple games that day and found him in one of them. We both enjoyed hanging out with him and decided to invite him to a call over Discord. We all talked, laughed, and we continued on as our friend group slowly grew from 5 to 15 over the next year or so. My girlfriend and I started planning on moving in together around this time and started talking about how amazing this is and planning on taking this to the next level. We started sharing everything, including passwords to each other's Discords. By this point our new friend was by far one of our best friends of all time, and we even talked about having him visit us since he lived only 2 states over, which would be no problem for him. We continued to hang out with our friends, telling them about our plans of the future we wanted to share together, and overall everything seemed to be the same. This is when it all came downhill. About a month ago my family decided to spring a vacation down to a luxury hotel by the sea. I obviously asked whether my girlfriend was allowed to come, which was denied due to my family being worried about COVID-19. Begrudgingly I had to accept, since they weren't going to allow me to stay home for 2 weeks all by myself at 20 years old. I told the news to my girlfriend and she was surprisingly excited at the idea, which was uncharacteristic of her due to her severe anxiety. I obviously asked if she was alright and if she was feeling okay. She said was completely fine, and that I had apparently helped her through her anxiety over the years, something I extremely regret eating up and believing, and telling her how happy I am that her anxiety is starting to go away. Off I went on the trip with my family to the hotel. I even feel sick looking at this place after all that's happened. I called my girlfriend the second I arrived at the hotel room, checking up on her and asking how she's doing without me, to which she responds along the lines of, "I'm doing great. I miss you so much already and I can't wait to have you back here." Another lie that I regret believing and completely hate myself for being so stupid. I started to enjoy my stay here, going shopping with my younger brother and sister and paying for food and clothes for them. I continued to go about my time just like this before I decided to call my girlfriend 2 days later to check up on her again, having only sent a text to her the night before asking. She continued saying, "I'm doing great. Why are you calling so often?" Which finally started raising red flags on my end, but I ultimately dropped it and decided to not call her for another 3 days as my family and I continued to enjoy our stay at the hotel. This is the moment where I feel beyond stupid, betrayed, angry and alone. I called her on Saturday after I told my family I wanted to relax and call her to hang out, opting to play on the laptop my mom had brought along. After a few minutes of ringing to no reply, the other end finally picked up to none other than my friend asking, "Who is this?" I recognized his voice immediately and asked what he was doing over at my girlfriend's house. He rapidly started spouting about how we talked about having him visit and how he took up the first opportunity he could to drive down to my girlfriend's house without saying a single word to me or my girlfriend. This raised every red flag possible. At this point I wasn't just smelling something fishy, I was smelling the whole ocean. I quickly logged on and checked messages between my girlfriend and my friend, only to discover that for 2 months they had been s-ing and she had told him about me going away, how badly he wanted her, pictures and more things I can't even stomach to read again, yet alone type. I don't know what to do. I feel betrayed, alone and angry. TL, Dr. girlfriend 20F sexted with a mutual friend 22M I had known for a year and a half and invited him over while I 20M was taking a vacation. I feel betrayed, angry and alone, and I need advice on what to do now. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, so basically, you went out of town for a little while and she jumped on the first DCK that presented itself. You're too young to deal with all that bullshit, move on to the next mistake, you still have plenty to make before people have higher expectations of you. Redditor 2, this is kind of off the subject, but what do you mean you're not allowed to stay home alone at only 20? You're a grown adult, it's completely crazy if your parents won't let you stay in the house by yourself for 2 weeks. The fact that you just accept this as normal is really weird. I've literally never heard of parents thinking a grown adult can't be home alone. Redditor 3, if she cheats, she's for the streets. Dump her ass. Redditor 4, a cheat is a cheat. Leave her. Cut your friend off. Don't look back. May be hard in the short term, but long term you will be much happier. Story 2. I 42M think wife 40F might be cheating. I have recently been starting to wonder if my wife might be cheating, but am not sure what to do from here. I have no smoking gun for evidence, so I don't want to confront her or bring it up in case nothing is happening, or to have her cover things up. It has just been small things and a spidey sense. About 4 months ago she started working out a lot more and became much more interested in how she looks. She is very attractive but never really wore much makeup or did much with her hair. She has also started being protective with her phone, which I know is a bad sign. It is normal for us to go into each other's phone, but no, it never leaves her side, and if I ask for it to take a picture or something, she will tell me to use mine. She has also been staying late at work more often and has been taking a few more out-of-town trips for work. In this last 4 months she hasn't initiated any kind of intimacy and only gives me pecking type of kisses. I tried to initiate with her a handful of times and she rejected me a few times, and a few times she let me go through with it but wasn't engaged and just laid there. It made me feel really bad, worse than getting rejected outright. I brought up the lack of intimacy a while back and she said that she was exhausted all the time from being a mom, work, and lifting weights. She said that she would try to do a better job and kissed me later that night, but nothing has changed. I have wondered if it might be some kind of midlife crisis kind of thing. There is a guy at her work that I am thinking could be trouble. My wife used to talk about him a lot, but a few months ago she quit mentioning him. But I know they still work closely together. From what I can gather, he is married with kids and told my wife that he is having marital issues. I met him briefly a few times and he basically ignored me. We were around a lot of other people. He isn't nearly as attractive as me and definitely not in great shape like me, not to brag, but it's true. I am big and strong and he is kind of average and a little overweight. But he dresses flashy and is outgoing and likes to drink. I don't really like drinking, and my wife has mentioned a few times that she wished I would go out drinking every now and then. I graduated high school and he has a master's degree. He also makes a lot more money than I do. I train fighters and love what I do, but make a very modest living. This guy probably makes 6x what I do and flaunts what he has. I just bring up all that as my assessment of how we differ. The biggest thing that I have been wondering about is that this last trip for work was at a tropical resort type of place, and my understanding at the time was that there were a big group of them going. It turns out that it was just my wife, the flashy guy, and the CEO. The CEO is very old and doesn't really interact socially, he is just all business. In my imagination, my wife and this other guy spent a lot of time together over that week doing who knows what. My dilemma is that I want to see if my gut feeling is right, but don't want to cause a bigger issue by accusing her or asking. We have had a few ups and downs over the years, but have had a pretty good overall marriage from my side. No major issues or anything. I am not the most outgoing guy and I don't make much money, which has been a small issue for my wife. She says I am not living up to my potential and I could make a lot more money doing something else. I don't want to make it sound like she is obsessed with money in any way, but I know women are more comfortable with a bigger nest egg. She thinks I can do other things, but I am not really qualified for anything other than fighting or training fighters. That's basically been my entire life. Or, possibly being a personal trainer. None of those things are big money makers. But other than those things, she seems pretty happy. A friend of mine said I should keep my suspicions to myself and start doing things to spy and collect evidence, if it's there. But I feel weird about violating her privacy. If she is cheating, I can't imagine I would ever stay with her. I hope I am wrong about all of this. But thoughts of her cheating are starting to flood my mind, and I feel like I need to find out either way. We have 2 kids, and that is the part that scares me. I am involved in every part of my kids' lives, and my heart would be broken to only see them half the time. Sorry for the long post. I would love to hear some ideas on how to deal with this. Update. So here is the newest information. I was able to get the login information for our cell phone account. She uses her phone a lot for work, and nothing looked weird until I started sorting the numbers and times. There were a ton of texts to one specific number at times very late at night, a few hours after we go to bed. I am going to see whose number that belongs to and find a way to get into her phone and see what name it is saved under. After I saw this, I started to get emotional and angry. I tried to tell myself it could be a mistake or some girlfriend of hers. Last night I tried to initiate, expecting to be rejected. And rejected I was. She said she was sorry but was too tired and had a headache. I told her that I was feeling like we weren't connecting very well. She said she is sorry and will try to be better. She said that last time. I didn't push the issue or anything, just told her good night and went to bed. This morning she told me she was thinking about taking a girls' trip to Vegas. She doesn't gamble. I asked who she would go with, and it was a few girls I never met. Apparently friends from college. Maybe all this is a coincidence, but a lot of stuff is looking weird.